Yeah. So this week we have been discussing about three-tier architecture application. So we discussed RoboShop. We understood what is three-tier architecture now. So it has web tier or front-end tier, app tier or API tier or back-end tier and database tier. So if you just see here, so database tier, we call it as stateful. State is nothing but data. Okay. So in software world, if you just listen a word state, it means data. It should be persisted. It should be stored. We are not afraid to lose the data because you started an application, you have a lot of customers, they placed a lot of orders, they paid, and the orders, the payments, everything is stored inside a database. So it should be stored properly, it should be backed up, okay, it should be secured. So that is the entire data of your application. It is okay if you lose these things. If you lose web tier, app tier, API tier, that doesn't matter. Okay, within hours you can bring it up because nothing is there inside that. So these applications are just connecting to the database and fetching that. So all the applications here, API tier, are doing CRUD operations on database. Okay, so these are called stateful. Web tier, fetching data from API tier. Okay, so now you should think whenever you give username and password from the browser, it will come to the web tier, and from here, excuse me. So from here, it will pass the data to the API tier. Then API tier will validate those email and password against the database, and database will validate. And if it is successful, then it will send the home page. Otherwise, it will throw an error message. The same error message will be sent to the user. Okay, so this is how that is happening inside the web tier. So I'm saying database tier is a stateful because it holds the data or state. API tier, web tier, these are stateless applications. Sorry, these are stateless applications. These two are stateless applications. So web tier, for each instance, we are taking one EC2 server and then we are installing that. Okay, for example, these database tiers are all like comes with M package manager so that we can install MongoDB. We can run them as systemctl start and systemctl enable, systemctl stop, enable, restart. Everything we can run on these database tiers. But this API tier or web tier, these are not the packages available in the internet. So these are the things our developers are doing it. Okay, so web tier or API tier. So what are the steps generally? Developers use programming languages to develop. So we should compile. We should build and package it. Okay, so step number 2 and step 3 are called as build process. Okay, so we store packages, either jar files or zip files, in some location. Okay, so like Nexus or S3, anything. Okay, we will fetch the package and deploy inside the server. Okay, so what is the deployment process? First thing, create server, install language, fetch the package, and then create a service. Do some configuration. So this is what the deployment process. Step number 2 and 3 are called build process. Definitely we will discuss those in upcoming sessions. Okay, and Yeah, so database here, we are not doing anything except configuring. Okay, it comes from the internet. So there are a lot of database servers. So that is MySQL, NoSQL, cache servers, MQ servers. These are all the default database servers we use in the enterprise applications. We are not going to develop any databases. So this is the clear picture of what we are doing. Okay, so now we have the documentation right now. So developers, they will decide we have to use MongoDB, we have to use Redis. They will decide these things. Okay, so DevOps has no scope in it. So developers and developer architects, like entire solution architects, they will decide what languages we should use, what versions we should use, what are the softwares we should use. Everything they will decide. But we should be aware of, for example, if they decided we should use Nginx web server, then we should be aware, as a DevOps engineer, you should be aware how to install the Nginx, how to configure it. Okay. And database here, actually, this is very crucial in financial companies and big MNC companies. There will be a dedicated database team. So sometimes they will take care of the installation, but installation doesn't matter here because it is just install and then running it. Okay, so if it is a crucial application like financial, there will be definitely a dedicated database team. Okay, so in a high level, you should understand how to install a package, how to make it as a service and running, how to create the connections between these three tiers. Okay, so that is what we are going to do here. So once you understand this manual configuration, then we are going to automate it completely. So you should read the documentation properly. Everything takes some time and then start reading the configuration. And last time we discussed Nginx as well. Nginx is a popular web server or reverse proxy server. So this is where you have to do configuration, and this is where user share Nginx HTML. You will keep the HTML, CSS or JavaScript files, and this is where you can check the log files if something goes wrong. And this is the main configuration file. So we discussed the difference between forward proxy and reverse proxy. Forward proxy is a client centric because only clients are aware of this forward proxy, and it is used as a content filtering in our MNC companies. And then it can be used as a cache servers by ISP internet, and privacy and anonymous. When you are connecting to the OTT contents, we use VPN servers that can hide the details of us. So reverse proxy is exactly opposite. It is server centric. Clients are not aware of what is happening inside the e-commerce network. We have reverse proxy server. From here, we are pointing the application to multiple locations. Okay. So then we started creating our web instance. So any application here, you have to install, you have to run it, and then you have to configure it. That's the high level steps. Install, configure, and run. Okay. So now let us configure that. So first create the server. Okay. So we are using our own AMI DevOps practice. You should be in a North Virginia region. Okay. In community AMIs, you can select. It is on CentOS 8. And so you can use T2.micro. You can use T2.micro for free tier, but T3.micro is chargeable. I'm using allow all. Yeah, that's all. But here now I'll create 3 instances. I don't want to come and then create again and again. I'm directly creating 3 instances and then launch instance. You can name it here. You can just come here and then edit the name. Here I am naming it as web instance. Okay. And take this public IP address. Okay. Launch Super Putty. DevOps 321. Okay. You can rename this tab as web sudo su hyphen. So we have a command in this AMI that is set host name web. So then it will show you here @web, so that you will not confuse while working with multiple servers at a time. So this is the public IP address. This is the private IP address. This is the instance type. Okay, these features are coming from our AMI. So we have configured it inside the AMI and we released it. So you can also do that, but don't think about that too much now. Okay, once after a few sessions, you can do that. Now let us follow the documentation. First thing we have to install. This is the command. So while you are working generally for DB tier, these are like heavy applications. Use t3.micro. Okay. For app and web tier, these are lightweight applications. You can use t2.micro. Just to save some cost. Okay, so web I install. So after install, what we have to do? So enable Nginx and start Nginx. And then let us open this. So you should get the default page. Okay. So you have to read these lines. Okay. So we are removing the content, the default content, because we want to deploy our application. After removing the default content, we need to download our package. Okay. So as I said, so we need to fetch the package. So developer already pushed it into the zip and jar into some location. Then we are downloading it. So in our upcoming sessions, we will do this as part of CI/CD. No need to worry about that right now. Okay. So they given the location for us. First, I am storing it to the temp directory, and then I will unzip into our Nginx HTML directory. So I'm moving to user share Nginx HTML because so this is where Nginx location to refer the HTML projects, and then unzip. Okay. And yeah, so let us access. So once you do some changes in the Nginx, it is always good to restart. Okay. Now you refer, so you'll get the application. So this is very simple actually. What you are doing, installing Nginx, removing the default content and downloading our project and then opening it in the browser. That's it. Okay. So we will do this configuration once you install the other two. So now let us do MongoDB. If you want to understand the dependency, it is clearly mentioned here. So this dependency will come from developers and then development team. Okay. So now web, if you want to browse the products, you need to do catalog. Catalog is dependent on MongoDB because this is where we have the products available inside the database. So first we should install MongoDB. Okay, so I'm renaming this as MongoDB. Okay, just 1 minute, I'll be back. Pinnamma. All good card in class చెప్తావున్నా ఏ పాలా సరే hi, sorry. Let us connect to MongoDB instance. So rename it DevOps 321. Okay, let's rename this tab. This is MongoDB. So hyphen set host name MongoDB. Okay. So now we need to install it. So MongoDB, you cannot get the direct package from the yum command. So that is why we are giving this repo. And I already explained about this repos. Whenever you install, so there will be a directory cd etc yum.repos.d. So here, whenever you do some m install some package name, for example, m install pack nginx, so our m command will contact all these repos and then it will fetch the nginx package from internet. Okay, so that is why we are configuring. You can see this MongoDB repository, and this is the this is where our MongoDB server exists. So whenever you install MongoDB org, then this m command will reach this server and it will fetch the package. Okay, so just create one mongo.repo. So this extension is very important. It should be .repo. And copy this and paste it. So you know this is all VM editor we already learned. Okay, now let us install this. So it is contacting all the repos. Finally, it got the package in MongoDB org. So that is what we have given here. Okay. So installing is done. Okay. And enable it. And then run it. So by default, generally databases come with some security feature, that is, they will only accept the connection from the Linux server. So we have MongoDB server. What is local to it within the server? So this server is the local environment to the MongoDB server. Okay. Linux server is local to it. So by default, it expects the application should be running in same server. So that is what it expects. Okay. So in the legacy applications like 20, 30 years back, we have databases and then applications in the same server, but nowadays we are separating them. Okay. But this feature is there from that time. So that is why we need to edit this configuration and enable MongoDB to accept the connections from any other server outside of it. Okay. Here it is MongoDB, and if it wants to accept the connection from catalog, we have to edit this. Okay. That is this VM etc mongodb.conf. So here there will be something bind IP. You should edit this as 0.0.0. Okay. Yeah, once you do some configuration changes, you should always restart. Now, how can you make sure it is running properly? So we have multiple things to check: systemctl status MongoDB, MongoD, and then ts-ef grep mongo. Okay, this is running, and then netstat-lntp. So it opened port number 27017 from the internet. Okay, now you can confirm the MongoDB is running properly. Okay. So this is the MongoDB configuration. Now let us check the catalog. So catalog, let us rename our server. Catalog. Get the public IP address. DevOps 321. Rename this. Get the sudo access set-host name catalog. Okay. So catalog is a Node.js application. So developer developed it in Node.js. So this catalog is responsible to fetch the product information which is in MongoDB. Okay, so that is why it is named it as catalog, generally product catalog. So catalog should connect to the MongoDB to fetch the products. So for that purpose, since it's a Node.js, you have to set up Node.js inside the server. So this is the command. Even if you search install Node.js in Linux, or at least CentOS, you can get the instructions generally. You can directly do this and install Node.js, and you have just through bash. So you'll get multiple ways you can install it. Okay. So we are installing through the bash script directly from the node. Okay. This will create the repo inside m.repos.d directory. can see it is installing Node.js 18. This is the latest actually. So now let us install this. So since it's a Node.js application, you need to install Node.js environment inside the server. That's it. Okay. And we are creating one application user. I'll tell you why is this. We already discussed last time. It is a system user, not a human. Okay, humans also get credentials, but on behalf of humans, we are creating one system user RoboShop. We will enhance it once we complete this project. Okay. Enhance it more. And so we have to create a directory. Inside that directory, here we will download the application. Okay, so the application is already in S3 location. This is the link. Okay, first I'm downloading into the temp, and then I am unzipping directly inside the app folder. Okay, this is the catalog. This is done, and we need to run npm install because every language have some dependencies, either C, C++, Java, .NET, any language, any programming language have some dependencies. You need to install those dependencies. That is why we run this command npm install. For Node.js, the file is here, package.json, Node.js, React.js, AngularJS, every JS kind of applications, JavaScript based applications, they will mention the dependencies in this. Okay, developers will do this. What is the library they want and which version? Okay. We need to just run the command npm install. What are the steps here? Create server, install language, and then install dependencies. Sorry, install, fetch the package, and then here install dependencies. Create a service and do some configuration. So now we are creating a service. This is called systemd service. So what is systemd service? Let us discuss that. Systemd service. Let's go to our Nginx cd etc systemd, and then it is the directory, it is system. Okay. ls-l. Okay. Nginx service.t. Go to here. Cloud init default multi-user. Find in this location -name Nginx. Here it is, multi-user target. So inside this, let us go here. And there is something called Nginx service. Okay, what is this? Let us understand. So no, you know the systemctl command. So systemctl, whenever you run the command, for example, at the time of m install nginx, it created a service in this directory. Okay, what is this directory? Etc systemd and then system. Okay, so this is where Linux looks for the services when it is starting. Okay, so if you keep the service in this directory, you can enable it and then you can disable it. If you enable, then Linux server will by default will go through this directory and it will fetch all the services and it will keep them running. Okay, so this is where you have to give your applications. So right now nginx is from the m package that it is creating automatically, but our application, okay, our application of catalog, it is not from the m, we are doing it manually. So what we do here, we create a service in etc/systemd folder to manage it as native systemctl service. Okay, so because this is our application, we developed it, but we want the flexibility of systemctl start, systemctl enable, systemctl restart, everything. So that is why we should create a service in this directory. Okay, so we want to customize our application as systemctl service. If you want to, not only this Node.js, any Java application, Python application, any application, if you want it as start and restart, stop, and then enable, disable, if you want all those features, you need to create some file in this directory. It is a systemd and system directory. So that is what we are doing here. So let us understand what we are doing now here. Okay, so this is where we are mentioning the description and name, everything. Okay, and service. So this is the service we are going to run. Who is going to run? Our RoboShop user. Okay, and environment, you can give some environment details. Okay, because catalog wants to connect MongoDB. So we should tell catalog where is our Mongo URL. So that is where you are creating environment variable, that is Mongo URL. And here you need to mention your MongoDB IP address. So what is our MongoDB IP address? This is the MongoDB IP address. Okay. So we are giving private IP because this is the internal communication. And you are saying execution start. So how to start the application? So it is saying /app/server.js. So in our app directory here, sorry, catalog. In our app directory here, so we have the JS application, server.js. This is the one developer developed it. If you want to start it, so this is the command to start. Node and then server.js. Okay, so this is how the application will be started if you run systemctl start catalog. Okay, we named it as catalog. Multi-user target means any user can run this. That's it. Okay, you no need to do this actually. So if you don't want to do this, what you have to do once you install the dependencies, then you need to run this here. Okay, if you run here server.js, okay, so application will run, but it is saying MongoDB connect. We need to give this environment, for example, Mongo equal to true. That is one environment variable, and Mongo URL this is one environment variable. Okay, now you run this. Okay, we need to give set Mongo true, and then what else we need to give? Okay, it's fine. We need to do some configuration and have to do that. In that way, we have to do it. Okay, setting the environment variable and then run it. If set command is not working, I think we can try export also. It's fine. We can run it as a root user also, not a problem. But anyhow, we need to do this configuration to run it as a systemctl service. Okay. So if you do this, then you can run it as a native systemctl application. Okay, VIM. So this directory etc system D and then system CD. So inside this folder, so you need to create dot service. The name is very important. You need to create catalog dot service. VIM catalog dot service. Here you need to give your content. Okay. So once you give the content, you have to daemon reload because you changed something inside this directory. Whenever you change something inside this directory, definitely you need to run this command daemon reload so that Linux will reload all the services inside the directory. Okay, and then enable catalog. Now you can use systemctl commands here. Okay, you can see it created a service inside this directory catalog.service. And then you can start it. So we have given our MongoDB URL because our MongoDB is, our catalog is connecting to the MongoDB. So you should tell catalog where is your MongoDB. That is nothing but the IP address of MongoDB. So this is where we have given our MongoDB IP address. And another thing we have to do. So we need to load some products into this MongoDB database. Okay. So load some products. Because this is the first time we are deploying the application. So we need to load some products into the MongoDB. Okay. Once the application come into running, so there will be a admin application. Okay. So there will be some support team. Now let us draw this. So this is the MongoDB database or MongoDB server. So this is where the data of products exist. Now we are our catalog application. Our catalog application is connecting to it. Okay. So it should have some products inside the MongoDB. Since we just installed it, we need to load the products inside the MongoDB first. Generally, what happens in real-time environment is, so there will be a separate admin website. So support team has that. So they will have an UI, for example. So there will be an admin UI like a website. So there, once they open, it will ask some form like enter product name and enter product code. Okay. Enter price. So there will be some form. Our support team, generally, they will open this UI, and from here, they will give the details. Then this application will enter the records, insert the records into the MongoDB. Okay, so this is how it happens generally in any application. There will be always an admin site. Okay, so for example, if you go to the bank, so we have our online SBI.com, but for bankers like cashiers and accountants, they have their own application to enter the details. So for any data architecture website, generally, if it is public, so then there will be always an admin site to manage the things in the background. Okay, so for now, so what we will do is, this is the MongoDB server. Okay, so you need to connect to this server, and then you need to load the applications. Okay, so MongoDB org is the server. Okay, you should connect to it, and then you need to insert the data. Generally, inside MongoDB server, we don't encourage to do the operations. Just like client server architecture, you know this. Facebook.com, this is a server, and this is the browser. So this is called as HTTP server. Okay, so this is called as HTTP client. So every server has some client. So you are opening this application in the browser, and you are doing some creating profiles, updating profile, deleting profile, reading your profile. You are doing like this. Okay, so basically you are doing CRUD operation on the server. So similarly for MongoDB server also, you have to install a client. So the steps is install MongoDB client anywhere, and then connect to MongoDB and insert some data. This is the first data. So if you want more and more data on daily basis, there will be definitely admin side. So first you need to install MongoDB client somewhere outside of the server. So what we are doing here, our developers, they came up with something called, sorry, 1 second. Inside schema folder, you can just see here, inside schema folder. So we have one catalog.js. If you see what is this catalog.js, so the same information, what is the product code, what is the name, what is the description, how much price, how much we have in the stock. So this is the, starting data. We are pushing it to the MongoDB so that the users can see that. Okay. So if you want to connect to MongoDB from here, generally, so this is the MongoDB server. You need to install MongoDB client software inside the catalog instance. Okay. Install MongoDB client software inside catalog, connect to MongoDB server. Okay. Developer gave us some initial products. Load them into MongoDB. Okay. So this is the start of the application. Once your application is up and running and the public started using, then you will have a separate admin website. There you will be pushing the products inside to MongoDB from backend. Okay, so this is what usually happens in the e-commerce websites. Okay. So now let us install our client software. So if you want to install client software also, you need to create our Mongo repo. And this is the content. So the package is MongoDB org shell. So you should understand this difference. MongoDB org shell is the Mongo client. MongoDB org is MongoDB server. Okay. Just understand the difference. I'm not installing the server inside catalog. I'm installing the MongoDB client only. Why? Because I want to connect to MongoDB from catalog. Okay. So I installed the client and now you need to load the data. So the command is like this. So you are connecting to the command is Mongo. Which host you are connecting? We have to give our MongoDB IP address. And then what are you loading? This less than symbol means you are giving input. Okay. So in Linux, less than means input. You know greater than, that is output. Output and redirection, whatever it is. Okay. So we are connecting to the MongoDB on this host and then we are loading the data. So these instructions generally you will get from developers. You don't need to worry about that. Go to app. Sorry, here. Inside catalog. Okay, now you load it. The data is loaded. Okay, so you got success response. Just carefully do this and understand what you are doing. You can see connecting to MongoDB and then it is inserting the objects. That's it. Okay, now the configuration is done here. Just a simple recap what we have done here. First, we installed Nginx and then we downloaded our front-end code inside this into user share Nginx HTML directory. And then we configured MongoDB. We installed MongoDB server. We started it. We enabled it. By default, MongoDB accepts the connection only from this local server itself. But you need to change the configuration to accept the connections from remote servers like catalog. So that is why we edited the configuration inside MongoDB configuration file. And this is done. And we installed Node.js in our catalog server. And then we created a directory. Inside the directory, we downloaded our Node.js package. I mean, Node.js code, and we installed the dependencies. And finally, we created a systemctl service for the catalog. And we need to load the default data. So that is why we installed MongoDB client inside catalog server. We connected to MongoDB and we loaded the data. So that is what we did till now. So from catalog, MongoDB, these two are configured properly. You loaded the data inside our systemctl service. You have given the MongoDB IP address. You should be very careful. There should be no spaces, no other things, just this one, MongoDB IP address. It should not have any space. Okay. So now these two configuration is done. Now you have to connect from web to catalog through reverse proxy. How to do that? So this is where you need to create one configuration file and you will give us some configuration. What is this configuration? So you are telling Nginx, whenever you get a request /API/catalog, send the request to our catalog server. Okay. So what is our catalog server? This is the IP address. Take the private IP and give it here. Here also there should be no spaces. And we are giving port number 8080. Why? Because our catalog, if you just systemctl start catalog, systemctl check the status of catalog. Okay, this is done. netstat-lntp. Okay, if you see port number 8080 is open. So Node.js applications generally they open port number 8080. Yeah, our developer is configured like that. It should open port number 8080. And you can check ps-ef grep since it is a Node.js application. So there will be, you can see our command bin node app server.js is running on RoboShop username. Okay, and then how to check the logs? tail-f/var/log messages. Okay. So this is where you can check. So let me restart and then check it again. You can see started catalog service and then is open port number 8080. And you can see here MongoDB connected. Okay, so because our developer wrote the code, it should go and connect to MongoDB. The location is var log. So there will be a file here, messages. Okay, there will be a file messages. You can open this. You can open this less with the less command also. If you open, if you want to go down, Shift G. If you want to go up, GG. Okay, less var generally log and messages. Shift plus G will take you down. GG, it will take you up. Okay. Q, you will come out. You want to check the running log, tail -f, it means follow, -f means follow, and log file. So if you face errors while connecting catalog to MongoDB, you need to check the IP address here, whether you have given proper IP address of MongoDB or not. You need to check you are giving any spaces like that. Okay. And this one is same 27017. This is the port number MongoDB is opening. Okay. So now let's come back to our reverse proxy configuration. This is where the reverse proxy configuration. Right now we haven't configured these things. That's why we just kept it as local host. Okay. So we just configured catalog. So that is why we have given our catalog IP address. You should not give any spaces here. Just let us take the so inside default.d, we are creating a separate file for our RoboShop. You can use this Nginx for multiple other projects also. So there you will create another .conf file and you can keep that configuration. Okay. Inside web. By frequently, that is why we have given here even the tree. Sometimes we confuse. So make sure you should not have any spaces here. Okay. So I did the configuration. So when you do some changes in Nginx, you should always restart it. Okay, how you can check the log here? Tail-f var log. For Nginx, there will be a separate Nginx directory, and you can give access.log. Okay. Now let us see what is happening here. Get the IP address and open it in the browser. You can see our categories are loading now. We have two categories, artificial intelligence and then robot. So all the products are loading here. Okay. So if you want to see this request, how is it happening in the background? Right click inspect, and then there will be a network tab here. Just refresh. And then you go and check here. There will be a lot of requests in the background. You can see categories. Okay. API catalog categories. So it is fetching the categories. So we have two types of categories, artificial intelligence and robot. Let me keep it here. Okay. Now, when you go here and then fetch something called HAL, there will be, you can see HAL1, you are getting the data as JSON from our catalog. SKU, name, description, price, how many are there in the stock, what is the category, everything you are getting the information. Now, if you just check this, so this is how the request is going. Okay, /API/catalog. So what we told Nginx here, if you get any request /API/catalog, then immediately pass it to our catalog service. Okay. Now you go and check in the logs here. tail -f var log messages. Here you can see we got a request. This is the request. This is the time, this is the IP address, and it is information, and from which host it got the request. Get, so it got a request on this one to give the product details of this. And then it got the request from Mozilla or Windows OS. It is nothing but Chrome or Mozilla, whatever. And then this is where the request originated. And you can see request completed. Status code 304. So there are some status codes, HTTP status codes. 200 means success. 300 means redirection. 400 means client side error. 500 means server side error. So first two things you can consider it as success. Starts with 200, 300, 201, 204, 202, like that. 400, generally you see 404. 404 means not found. Okay, 403 forbidden, and 500 internal server error. So if there is 400 requests client side error, you are not giving proper URL. Okay. 500 is server side error. There is something wrong inside server or code. Okay. So these are the HTTP status codes generally we use in software. So catalog is good. So when you are trying to debug, how you have to debug? The request is coming. The request is coming from web. First, the request coming to the web. From here, web is redirecting the request to the catalog microservices. From catalog, it is able to connect to the MongoDB and fetching the information. So any doubts still here? We can answer a few questions. Yeah, Sattar, you have a question?
Good morning, Siva.
Yeah, good morning, Sattar.
Like just you are explaining AWS or something else?
No, I'm explaining how to configure a project manually.
Okay. Like this is a architecture. Like it will design by
Yes.
architecture,
Correct.
right?
Yes, correct.
He will design like this. So after this, we will configure, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. First, I thought this is a 3-tier architecture. Okay.
Yeah, this is a 3-tier architecture.
Okay. You are showing that how to configure 3-tier architecture manually, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
After that, you will start with the help of DevOps tools. How can we configure automatically?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Yeah, most welcome. Anil Kumar.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah, hi Siva.
Yes, Anil.
Yeah, in real time, directly we are using automation, and real time also we are using manually.
Actually, why I'm spending a lot of efforts to do manually is if you want to do something automation, you need to understand how is it happening in the manual. Okay. For example, if you are an automation tester, can you directly work on automation testing without understanding how manual testing works?
Yeah.
So if you know how to test the application manually, then you can do automation testing. Because whatever you are doing in a manual thing, so you will keep it inside automation, and then you will run it. So similarly, if you want to deploy the application automatically, you should understand how should you do it in a manual way,
Okay.
because the same process we are going to automate. So if you know it manually, then you can do it properly. Otherwise, so you cannot really understand what is happening. And it is very difficult for you to troubleshoot when something goes wrong. So that is why I'm spending at least 1 week of efforts to make you understand, all guys, how to deploy the application manually first, how to make the connections properly.
Sure,
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Murali, you have some question? Murali? Jay Chandra?
Yeah, we have while this one like creating instances, we selected two this one
T2.micro or T3.micro, yes.
T2.micro, right? But it is showing T3.micro.
No, I selected T3.micro because we are doing a class. Sometimes T2.micro is not enough for databases.
Okay, T3.micro is a chargeable, so
Yeah, chargeable, and it is latest generation. It's okay for me because I'm teaching something, so it should be
okay.
fast while teaching it. Okay, that is why.
Okay. And one more thing here, MongoDB configurations, we have allowing 0.0.0.0, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So in office in real time, so we need to give the exact IP address, right?
Yes,
Instead of 0.0.
exactly. So right now, we are doing it inside the server. So in our future sessions, we will use our AWS document DB service, NoSQL DB service, DynamoDB, or okay, we will use DynamoDB service. There we can configure it using security groups.
Okay, that is fine. And
So
one
you
more
can do it here also inside MongoDB. There is a security group here, right? You can also give only our catalog IP address.
okay, either in configuration or we can do here.
Yes. So anyhow, we don't do it inside the servers. We have the security groups.
Okay, thanks for that. And one more, you open one more window, right?
Hmm.
That settings. When you run the application, it is showing different.
This one.
Here, this one. Yeah, this window. How we can open or what we can check.
Right click, inspect.
Okay.
And then there will be a network tab here. So network tab is nothing but whenever you enter a URL in the browser, it will show you what are the things happening in the background. So it is fetching our JavaScript front-end code. Okay. And then it is fetching everything. You can just see here.
Okay.
API catalog categories, the response also you can see it here. And then it is fetching this is the image. If you go here, it will frequently change. Okay. You can just clear and then click on HAL. There will be a request sent. For every click, there should be a request sent to the background.
Okay.
So it is fetching the image. It is fetching this. You can see this is the data. And it hit another URL. It got something, an error. Okay. 404 not found. Something ratings. Rating we haven't configured. That is why it is unable to fetch the ratings. You can see 404 not found. But for this, it got 304. It is success. We got the response.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Santosh Avula. Santosh Avula.
Hello, Shiva.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Shiva. Good morning. Yeah, Shiva, I have two doubts. First, whenever you get the 404 error, straightforward you go for the check in web tier or any other way of checking the issue are there in a backside of the issue.
So first of all, you should understand 400 errors are client side errors. Okay. It means we are doing some mistake. So what is the mistake here? 404 not found. It is clearly saying, so this is not found. It means inside API ratings, we haven't configured it. We are working with catalog. So obviously we haven't configured ratings. That is why it is giving an error.
So you have to check with in web tier, right?
Yes.
One more question is where you are involving in the firewall rules, like vulnerability, security vulnerability.
Firewall right now we haven't used. We are just allowing everything. So once you do this, later we can concentrate on it. So this is the basic installation. Once you are good at basic installation, then we can go into the production level configurations. Okay. So if we directly concentrate on this production level configuration, you will not understand the concept. Okay. First, we will do the version 1 deployment of the application. Then we will improvise this application with more security rules.
So
Okay.
one more question, Shiva. Shiva, this same way how you have to follow on the real time world.
Whatever I am telling here, this is the same way we are working in the office environments also. You no need to ask again and again, all of you, are we doing the same in real time? Are we doing the same in real time? But first we understand the basic, forget about that real time, unreal time, not real time. Just understand the concept. Okay.
Sure.
And then later I will definitely take you through the production level. Don't worry about that. If I teach you directly the things happening at the production configuration right now, so you will go mad. Okay.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Padmashri.
Hi Shiva, good morning.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
I just wanted to understand one thing. That is, we are setting up this service file, right? So this service file configuration, do we get it from the developers or should we configure based on the service which we are installing?
Okay. So they will give you this environment details.
Okay.
Generally, and they will tell you how to run the application. But you should understand they don't know where to configure a system CTL service. Okay. So as a Linux person, we have to understand how to create system CTL service in Linux. If you just type this, so you'll get the sample files. Okay. Create the service file, where to create, and what is the meaning of each one. Which user it should run, what is to start. So that is why we are giving it here. Whenever I run systemctl catalog, so this is the command you should run. And before that, set this environment. So that is what we are telling it actually.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay. So you can just see here what is the description. This is a simple thing. And you know how to enable everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So as a Linux person, we should understand how to create systemctl service. Thank you.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Vishwanath?
Yeah, it's cleared.
Yeah,
Sure.
okay, nice, thank you. Venkat Anand Nedadavolu.
Hi Shiva, good morning.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
While configuring, why can't we use public IP instead of private IP?
So I explained this already in public IP versus private IP. Just go through the recording once again. But anyhow, if you use public IP, the traffic will come out and then come in again. Okay. If you use private IP, traffic will be within the server itself. For example, this is catalog. This is MongoDB. So this is the modem there inside. So you have one IP address from modem. So modem will give private IP, not public IP. Okay. So modem is aware of which IP, either public or private. Modem is allocating private IP. Public IP is allocated by AWS ISP. So this modem is always connected to one ISP. That is nothing but AWS has one ISP network. Okay. So if you give private IP, modem is aware of private IP. So within the network itself, it will send the traffic. If you give public IP, modem is not aware of public IP. The traffic will go out and then again it will come in. Okay. So the latency will be increased. That is why.
Okay,
Fine.
okay. Is there any security issue?
Yeah, obviously, if the traffic is going out, it is the security as well as the time latency will be increased. Delay.
Yes, yes, sure. Thank you, sir.
Most welcome. Appara?
Hi, Siva.
Yeah, hi,
Today
Appara.
I have joined this class, so I want
Sorry?
to. Today
Today
only,
is?
today only I have joined the class.
Okay,
So
just
I
spend
want
some
to.
extra time this week and then try to cover the previous sessions.
Okay, but where we are executing these commands and
So
like
you'll get full clarity if you start from the session 1.
okay,
Okay.
okay,
Thank
Siva.
you. Aslam?
Yeah, hi sir, good morning.
Yeah, hi.
This Nginx using for reverse processing and load balancing, right? You said
Yes,
there is one caching. So what
that
is
is
this
forward proxy.
forward proxy? Okay, okay. So
Okay.
I have one more doubt. So we are
Hmm.
creating now AWS instances, right?
Hmm.
So and if you use the public IP for instances, if you paste in the web browser, it's available, like it's publicly available, right?
Hmm.
So
Correct.
what is this background process happening? Like why we are what's EC2 what is exactly EC2 instance is doing? So that where my doubt is like
EC2 instance is the Linux server.
okay,
Yeah,
why
it will get what?
we are installing particularly in EC2 instance like that
So
package.
then where you will install? So EC2 instance is nothing but the Linux server. Okay, so I recommend you to go and watch the previous sessions. Okay, yeah, thank you. Vinith Vijay.
So Shiva, as we have created created 3 instances. So now we need these instances. So how to better to stop it or terminate it means.
Terminate it.
So again, the very next day, again we have to do this full process for creating these instances and configuring, right?
Yes, it's good. You will practice again and
Okay.
again.
Okay.
If you are very confident, then you can stop it. That's fine.
But then it will be chargeable if we are stopping it.
For storage, not for the instance. For storage, it is chargeable.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So always just be aware what you are creating inside the Linux, and then try to terminate, all of you guys. Okay. Otherwise, you will be charged. Just don't keep it running for the long time. Not 2 days, it is fine. Praveen B.
Hi, Shiva. Good morning.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
As one of our colleague has asked that about the sessions,
Hmm.
suppose if you want to continue the same sessions, like can we do like stop, or can we take some backup or any other mode to continue from the last
No
session?
need of backup. It is if you are stopping the instance, means just shutdowning your laptop. If you
Okay.
start it again, you will have the data.
Okay. But every time when you start the instances, when you start EC2 or when you create a web server or something, again, we need to install the Nginx and start it and restart it, all the process.
If you stop and start, no need.
Okay.
Okay. If you terminate it, then you have to do it everything again. So I recommend you terminate.
Okay. And where we can see that amount of storage it is getting stored in the in the Amazon Web Services?
In volumes here, there will
Okay.
be a storage for each and every instance. Okay, this is our 10 GB.
Okay.
And within the instance also, you can get what is the storage. If you select this, you have some storage option here. So this is where you have your volume.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So my first recommendation, you terminate it and then create. So Ashwant Kumar.
Hi Shiva, good morning.
Yeah, hi. Morning.
Yeah. So earlier I used to have a lot of questions on this Nginx config, but today with the session you have cleared a lot of things, and I will just go through the recording one more time for better understanding.
Yeah.
So here I have two requests, Shiva. So regarding the TLS and SSL certs, okay, we used to have OTS, TLS and SSL, and can you please also go through us regarding this get post request? So how to understand the various types of requests, that would be helpful. These are the two requests.
Actually, get and post these things will be done by developers. Okay. But if you understand, that is good. Sometime we will cover it. Okay.
Yeah, the basic understanding even DevOps team needs to have this, right? So that is my request. And regarding this TLS and SSLs, are we going to cover in the further
Yes,
session?
definitely we will cover.
Okay. Thanks, Shiva. Thanks for the confirmation.
Okay. Most welcome. Bye.
Yeah, Shiva.
Yes, hi.
Yeah, Shiva, can you explain stateful and stateless one more time, please?
Sorry, you can go through the recording. That's why I'm giving recording.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Ramakrishna.
Hi Shiva, good morning.
Yeah, hi, good morning.
So since we are using Nginx as a web server, right? So do you have any other servers like to be used?
Apache.
So I mean this and all can be decided by the architect level only. So whatever they are
Yes.
given, then we can install them.
Yes.
Okay, but the process is same, like in order to install them, whatever we are following for Nginx.
Yes, you need to install and configure the same. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Vijaya. Yeah, Vijaya. Okay, so you guys please go and configure it again.
Hi Shiva.
Yeah, hi Murali.
Can one question? So, like the CentOS, what is that?
CentOS is the operating system name. I mean the OS name, Linux distribution.
Oh, okay, okay, got it. And one more question: when you are trying to set up MongoDB, you are using repo file.
Yeah,
right?
correct. Yeah.
So for any other DB, so we get the same .repo files.
I mean .repo. So you have listened to our package management sessions.
Okay.
So for every Linux distribution, I mean not for every Linux, for AWS, the RHEL and CentOS and AWS Linux and Fedora. So for this, M is the package manager. Okay. And we have updated version, that is DNF, whatever it is. There will be etc m.repos.t directory, and here if you have to keep .repo files. Okay. So then when you install install Nginx, it will contact the servers in the internet and it will fetch the package. That's it. Okay.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Most welcome. So Just take some tasks as assignment. Watch system CTL services.
So we don't have, I don't have Slack and the document access.
Yeah. So we completed the access providing actually. You can just ping us in WhatsApp.
Okay. Sir.
Yeah. System CTL services, just understand this as tasks and assignments. Okay. And HTTP codes. So that's all for today's session. So tomorrow's session, we will configure all this again. So I will do one more time configuration, but tomorrow I will do it first. And then from tomorrow's session, we will configure our Redis and then user cart applications. Okay, again, Redis is a stateful, user and cart are stateless. So user and cart, again, they are Node.js, exactly same as catalog. Okay, you have to install Node.js and then create user, download the package, install the dependencies, create systemctl service, and then you need to load the user data again into MongoDB. You should always refer this diagram for the dependency. Okay, so tomorrow we will discuss what is this Redis and cache. Just take this also as an assignment. So what is cache? Okay, tomorrow anyhow I'll explain, but if you read, then you will be good again. So try to configure today. So whatever we explained, then you will get good confidence. Remaining things follow the same process. Okay. Yeah, you can join today's evening Q&A session when you are doing practice. So I recommend you practice before the Q&A session today, and then we can always resolve your errors, your doubts in the today evening session again. Thank you so much. See you in the evening. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.